Mr. President, your beloved New York City may well be led by a communist soon, Zohran Mamdani, who in his nomination speech said he will defy ICE and will not allow ICE to arrest criminal aliens in New York City. Your message to communist Zohran Mamdani.
Well, then we'll have to arrest him. Look, we don't need a communist in this country, but if we have one, I'm going to be watching over him very carefully on behalf of the nation.
On behalf of the nation, that's a Queens boy right there. And that was President Trump warning he will arrest Zohran Mamdani if he impedes ICE operations. That is, if he's elected as New York City's next mayor. Now, as I talked about in my monologue before, New York City mayoral candidate Mamdani, he's as fake as his accents. He's an artificial candidate created to usher in communism, a carefully crafted communist, presented in a nice, sweet package, but nothing about him is organic or grassroots, including his donors. With me now is the man who uncovered and analyzed all the data and all the numbers behind Mamdani's campaign. He's a forensic accountant, Sam Antar. If you recognize Sam, that's because he's the same guy who uncovered Tish James, New York Attorney General, we'll use the word alleged, her alleged fraud. Welcome to the Chris Salcedo Show. So, Sam, this was a lot of work. This was a lot of work that you did. Hundreds and... It's my fault. What made you to go?
Because I was on the air with you, and we were talking about Tish James and the numbers and everything. He says, "Why don't you look for more corruption?" And you gave me the direction. Because of you, I'm missing sunsets. I'm not caught in the rain. It's your fault.
It's my fault. Okay, so how can it possibly be that this guy has such a huge coffer, millions of dollars? You were able to uncover that not a single donation came from like a regular person? How's that possible?
First of all, let's talk about sources. I downloaded all the information from the New York City Board of Elections website. It's available to the public. It was a 27,000-row spreadsheet, okay? Taking up over 500 pages. I looked at it, both myself, I said, what? There's something wrong here. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe whatever. There's no way that every dollar came from bundlers.
A bundler is a person who is a professional.
Raises money for the candidate, right? So I go and I run it through. I run it through Excel's tools. I run it through 3 different AIs, and I came up with the same conclusion. And then I still didn't trust the AIs. I did it again. So basically, you have 27,600 and something lines, okay? 70 of them or so were not attributed to bundlers, and the total from those lines was 0.
Zero.
0, 0, 0. Now, when you look at it, you say, okay, the guy has 4.5 million people on social media between YouTube, Instagram, Twitter ex-Twitter, and Facebook and whatever, right? And they all tell you, go to the Mamdani campaign website, where, you go and you fill out a form and you donate money. And the form, if you look at the source code, which I did, okay, look at the source code, the money goes right to New York City Votes. Who keeps track? Was it bundled money? Was it this? Was it that? Right? Now, based upon the data, okay, all of those commercials, all of that beautiful media coverage that he gets, they slobber over him. Based on all of that, the social media stuff, his scripted appearances, not a single dime ends up in his campaign coffers as a result of all of his appearances. It's all bundled money. Now, it's kind of like a TV show with great ratings. They play the commercials, but nobody buys the product. He's a lab rat, okay? He was engineered in the lab, made for television, okay? But he gets no grassroots results as far as it concerns money. His bundler raised, one single bundler raised 94% of the $1.7 million that he raised from his base. He had another $1.9 million that he raised from PACs on top of that. This is not a grassroots candidate. Right. Okay. Now, his bundle, by the way, raised 35% of overall bundler funds attributed to all candidates across the city. And he was 10 times more than the second-place bundler.
And so this bundler, we're not going to say who he is, but he is known. He is an avowed socialist. This is a guy who's a professional who makes it his priority, his business, to get these type of candidates in.
What gets me is, how come none of his money is organically generated? There's the website. Fill in the
He can
form.
be
first
defeated.
page.
So that means he can be defeated.
Who's giving him the money? It's all bundled.
It's all bundled. It's all professional funds.
Yes.
Do you think this guy is? They created him in the lab. He is a manufactured candidate because if New York City falls, the rest of the country will follow.
Right. If you notice his appearances, they're all scripted. They're all very, very carefully scripted. Even when he cries, it's scripted. He's a phony.
He certainly is.
He's a phony and a fraud. And a fad, too.
He is. And you think he can be beat?
I think he could be beat, but I'm just the numbers guy. I go through numbers. And don't give me any more numbers to go through.
Real quick, I have to go. Has the Mamdani campaign reached out to you? Because you put this all on social media.
I put it on
and
it. I
you
tagged him on it. He knows I exist. He's going to ignore it. Because if he doesn't ignore it, if he doesn't ignore it and comes after me, I'll go back at him, just like I went back after the media with Letitia James.
That's
I'm
it.
not afraid of these assholes.
Because you have the. Well, you got the truth on your side. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Sam, so much for joining us.
You know, folks, I thank God for my wonderful wife, my kids, my country, the greatest nation ever. And Americans like you who believe in the truth, the Chris Salcedo Show will never stop fighting for you.
The Chris Salcedo Show, for the news you need to know.